gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing? You're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi, fantasy, and geek culture. I'm Seven, and today we have Naseed Gifted, the one and only, the creator and founder of ChemFest, as well as more things. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's also a comic book creator as well. So, and other stuff too. You do a lot. So let's get into that. Let's get into, you know what, before we get into that, actually, couple promotion things. GeekCaster just put their first film out there on Tubi. It's an adult comedy. So check that out. It's called Use Me, the life of Guy with Cam. Use Me, the life of Guy with. That's a lot. The life of Guy with Cam on Tuesday. Sheesh, yeah, that's a lot. But check that out. And we have to talk about GeekCaster. We'll be coming up to some other comic book conventions. We also have a new editor for our magazine. Go to geekcaster.com and you'll check out Jade. Wonderful articles, writing, and stuff like that. And you'll see some of my writing on there as well. So that is that. Okay, cool. So, Naseed Gifted. First, for all those that are living underneath a rock, what is ChemFest? What is ChemFest?
ChemFest is a celebration. It's a celebration of black animation, gaming, and comic book creators. We are actually in our 9th year of ChemFest. We started in 2015, and I've been pushing forward, man. We took the passion that people have for and highlighted those various STEM careers that are associated with that, and created the whole festival around it.
Cool. And if you could move a little closer to your mic source there.
No problem.
Yeah, because it went out a little bit. But yeah, so now you're also in education as well, right?
Yes. So I'm a comic book creator / festival organizer by night, and I'm a school administrator by day. So
now there were no cool school administrators when I grew up that were making comic books and comic book conventions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ask the kids, I don't know if they say I'm a cool administrator because I'm really tough on them. But
right.
Some of the stuff that I do outside of the school is definitely really cool. And then those individuals who are, definitely into these various genres, they definitely gravitate to this particular space at a high level.
Wow. All right, so let me ask you this. Well, I'm gonna throw some things there because you didn't think I did the research. All right. You got 2 Glyph Awards. What's that about?
Well, yes, for our first comic series, PB Soldier, we got new best artist and new project. So we got nominated for those 2 areas and received that. We got the Lifetime Achievement Award for ChemFest and the work we've been doing with the graphic novels and everything. Because, besides it just being an engaging and enriching story, we use it as a vehicle to educate and motivate individuals in STEM fields.
Wow. That's a lot, man. And you got, I don't even know how this works, because you got an award from an action convention expo? Would that be Urban Action Expo? How does that work with comics?
So Urban Action Showcase actually has a comic category where you got to remember when we think about any film or anything, comics is generally where you get your screenplays from. So they actually have a category where they actually screening various comic book mediums in order to look for that next engagement project. So that's what we got on for that.
Wow. Yeah, you smiled. Didn't think I knew all that, did you?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you did your research, brother. You did.
So I'm gonna see if I could punch this up here because we are live, and yes, it's one man pushing all the buttons. So here's something. It's very interesting. Let me see. I put your face right over here, right there. project. Let's see if I could run this while you're talking. So this Jason, the
Yes.
rose that grew from the concrete. So
Yes.
I got the images flowing as you're talking. What is this about?
Well, first of all, you want to prepare to be captivated by an
Oh,
immersive journey of social justice,
okay.
raw emotion, and
Okay.
echo future. Uh, and this is our highly anticipated graphic novel series, Jason the Rose That Grew from the Concrete,
Okay.
which is a groundbreaking project where we incorporate in poetry, imagery with a dynamic storyline.
Okay, so that was interesting too because I did check this out. And I'm like, oh, here's a story. And all of a sudden, here's this random poem. And then some somebody with a smooth voice is singing. I'm like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. So you got
Yeah.
music, poetry.
Oh, so I mean, as far as the story, it's the visuals plus the poetry. So she is going through a journey.
Okay.
So just to give you the gist of the story, it starts where she actually discovers the cure for cancer. And because she discovers the cure for cancer, a tragedy actually happens, and next thing you know, she is being accused of killing two um, anti-terrorism squad troopers, and he's arrested right on site as she's discovered this.
Wow.
So that kind of talks about her whole journey, where she was isolated. She was put in a prison with all males,
Okay.
and how she actually got through that. And then don't want to give too much of the story, but it gets into her whole journey and then how she actually dealt with this trauma. So we talk
Wow.
about a lot of trauma and then how she deals with it in this world where we live in. It's an Afrofuturism series, so it's set in a world where we consider everyone's considered a terrorist or have a terror threat level. And of course, Jason is one of the top terror threat level individuals in this world because of her you know background, as well as she worked for the particular program and now she's actually a fugitive. So
Wow.
it gets into that whole journey. It's this is actually a spinoff from the original series PB Soldier, but because her character was so encapsulated and everyone wanted to see this story, we
Right.
did her a standalone. It still, of course, connects to the PB Soldier series, but it's her own standalone series.
Wow. Wow. So what inspired the spinoff? Just a fan reaction, or is this like
Part of it was fan
okay,
reaction because it was always intended to do the spinoff, but it was
okay,
supposed to happen later on as we ran a number of the volumes for PB Soldier. But it was really an opportunity to be able to use my creative juices to write this perspective, to be really intentional as being able to tell a story about a young lady's journey through this particular world, her reactions, her emotions, and then capture that and convey it all into this story, and then talk about an oncologist. Oncology and how she got in and got inspired to be an oncologist, but then taking the oncology and understanding the sciences, the maths that's associated with it, and then infuse some traumatic event and how you react to that.
so how would you, and I don't know, let's say how would you, but also have you ever experienced anyone approach you and say, you know, how can you tell this story being that you're a male writing
Yes.
this from a
Mm-hmm.
female? Have you had that kind
I
of
haven't
critique or
had that
questions or
talk. So I haven't had that talk yet, but what I did was very I did a ton of research. Our chief editor, which is Dr. Shamika Mitchell, got a lot of insight, engagement, with regards to making sure that this, even though I am the chief writer, really use that perspective from a number of sources, be able to make sure that we're telling the right story, and then making sure that we are capturing this particular journey from a certain lens.
okay. Yeah, because I mean, I find that fascinating, especially in this day and age. I would say
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, whatever, 5 years ago, but right where we're at now,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, it's very
So
touchy.
I mean,
It can
and
be.
that is, and that was one of the main things that. So, like I said, was being very intentional, surrounded, myself,
Okay.
as well as the rest of the team with women who had this insight. The associate director Natasha Dyer, who's been uh, editor on a number of our projects, throughout the years. Dr. Shamika Mitchell, my aunt Ann, who's a 30-year registered nurse.
Okay.
40-year registered nurse. So they're just taking all and just borrowing from all of those different things to create an engaging story. Uh, Never wanted to use just my lens or perspective on it. I mean, even though I am the chief writer on it, but like I said, did a ton of research and then kind of borrow from their perspectives, of how to make sure. I mean, just even with language and stuff, just making sure that the language speaks to that particular that particular perspective and style.
So let me ask you. So your company is PBS Media, correct?
That's correct.
Now, what
Yes.
does that stand for?
Focus with a PH. Focus Black Star Media.
Okay. And what inspired like, oh, I'm just gonna call my company. Like, you just wake up one day and that's it. That's what we're gonna call it. Like, or was there a story behind that?
I mean, well, yes. So in college, we actually had a clothing line where the original PB Soldier T-shirt originated. So PB
Oh,
Soldier, which was always PBS, you know, um, was the original company. I mean, well, excuse me, that was the clothing line. And
okay.
then the company was called PBS Unlimited, which is Proud Brothers and Sisters Unlimited. So from that point on, we always kind of kept this whole PBS piece attached to it.
Okay.
And like even from the logo, we actually have a insignia of a black star encapsulated in a particular circular target area. So it's like focus black star in the media piece, speaking to the lens or the genre of the material that we are putting out at the moment.
Wow. And this all started 2017.
No. So we've actually, as far as the graphic novels and everything, since 2012.
Okay.
The company was actually established in 2011, but like I said, we actually have a history going back to 1998, where we had a clothing line.
So the clothing line was 1998.
Yeah, the clothing line was 98, and we pretty much dismantled that in about 2004.
Hmm.
And then after 2004, actually, when I actually had my son, was born in 2004, and 2 years after that, actually probably about 2006 is when I actually had the idea of coming up with the graphic novel series,
Right.
and then 2008 started really writing everything just based off a conversation I had with my son, who we talked about heroes and superheroes and just understanding the household. He knows about the three M's: Malcolm, Marcus, and Martin, and just knowing his
And say
history.
that again, because I know the mic pop, but I want any youngin to get this. I don't want to miss a moment. Say that one more time.
So in a household we know about the three M's. That's Malcolm for Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Marcus Garvey.
You got
Uh,
that?
so
And
so
hopefully
with
I
that,
can make you proud and add a fourth M, but let's keep going. Let's keep going.
no, yeah, we got a ton of M's, but being that he knows about those
Right.
individuals, we had a conversation about superheroes, and when we talked about superheroes, we talked about every superhero under the sun: Superman, Batman, Spider Man, and everyone else, but he couldn't name anyone that looked like him. So initially, I got upset and just set off on it. And then as the engineer in me set off on a journey to kind of change that paradigm. And hence, 2012, we launched the first book and just been pushing ever since.
Nice. When is the next fest?
So ChemFest this year is going to be September 23rd and 24th at Cityplex 12 in Newark, New Jersey.
Now, will we be able to buy this graphic novel then?
Yes. So the plan is after the Kickstarter we want to have Jason available at ChemFest.
Okay, so that's the target. No pressure.
No, no.
I mean,
I
September,
mean,
believe it or not, it's
glad
right around the corner.
glad the book is done. We just looking to raise the funds so we can actually print the book. So the book is
Oh,
actually done, which is
oh,
to our advantage. But just making sure that we actually have the opportunity to be able to send it off to the printer, get it back in time in order for it to make it to ChemFest.
nice, nice. And for anyone out there that doesn't know the process, so boom, you have an idea, right?
Yes.
Then you write it.
Yep. So so the process of creating your own any project, of course, everything kind of comes with the conceive part. So you conceive it in your mind,
Mm,
believe in your heart, and achieve it with your hands. So the hands part becomes a writing piece. The writing goes into a script format, which is a panel
okay,
by panel format,
okay,
which we send off to the artist. The artist then develops its first sketches. Uh, once the sketches or pencils are approved, then it goes into inking, and then when it goes from inking, it goes into coloring, and then that and each step of the way is pretty much a whole approval process. So it's pretty much a lot of back and forth between the writer and the artist
mm,
to make sure that we are capturing the uh, the vision of what was supposed to be told within the story. So within every panel, Abel Garcia was our artist. Aniola Martinez was the colorist on this particular project. But I was the visual artist on every panel that came forth within this particular book.
wow, wow, that's a lot. That's amazing. And
Now,
September, it's
yeah,
happening.
yes, it
No
is.
matter no matter what, it's happening.
Oh yes, it's definitely happening. It's
Okay,
definitely happening. Now we just don't want anybody out there to miss out on it.
okay. Now, can we get any of the other titles as well in September?
Yes. So PB Soldier will still be available. We still have copies of PB Soldier, and even during the Kickstarter, we are offering that as an incentive for part of the rewards package that comes along with the Jason graphic novel. So you can get two graphic novels, 200 and that's 176 plus another about 290 something pages of the storyline that's going
Wow,
to be readily available between the two graphic novels. Because PB Soldier's story is 176 plus 120-page story of Jay's 120 plus pages, because we actually have 120 pages of story, but we're going to add a few depending on how the Kickstarter goes. We're going to look to add a couple more pages onto that.
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, when you first did the first comic, was it always boom? Here's a graphic novel, or you had it in pieces and then eventually
Yeah.
just put it all together?
Yep. So the first was a comic book series that we were putting out. So that's why since 2012 we put out six Soldier books, and now that is all within a volume, which is 176, along with
Again, you
one
said
of the
176. You just cut out again. Just would say
yeah, that,
176 pages.
yeah, 176. So that was the six books plus the unpublished book that we actually finished as well, which makes up the 176 pages. And then now we have James' story, which is 120 plus pages. Like I said, between the two graphic novels, you're going to have almost 300 pages of the story of the particular storyline to go through. And then we actually developed even an activity guide and everything to go along with it as
Wow,
well.
wow. A separate activity guide.
Yes, a separate activity guide. So a
Wow.
part of the Kickstarter, we actually have we did one for PB Soldier. So now we're going to do one for Jason as well. Depending on how well the Kickstarter does, that's actually one of our stretch goals to be able to offer that as an incentive or something for you to learn about oncology. The various things that surround and around it. Cancer is a thing that is affecting our community. and this story kind of touches me dearly because I lost a friend to breast. That was someone really close to me to breast cancer, and and not being able to help that individual the way I needed to. I feel, you know, and I'm talking about just making readily available with the cure. So since then I've done a ton of research, from diet to sound and everything else to be able to help support that particular movement, and being able to deal with that. And that actually was something that my mother was dealing with, on a even more personal level. But she's actually a cancer survivor.
Wow, blessings. Yeah, yeah, that's not. Yeah, definitely lost some people with cancer as well, and it's a story. I don't know anyone that doesn't know someone that hasn't been affected or is not currently
Yes, yes.
affected. So, yeah, that's a big thing. Well, let me actually thinking about big things because of the education background and the
Yes.
teaching background. Um, you see the influence of media and different things with the kids.
Hmm.
Does that stifle your creativity at all, as far as the stories that you're willing to tell, or you have an idea and say, no, that's going too far. Oh, I'm not going to touch that, or I have to tiptoe how I deal with certain things.
I, the only thing I think from a creativity standpoint is, I'm very conscious of language.
Mm,
So I'm trying to be very intentional on vocabulary,
okay.
how people are, engaging in dialogue, to be able to help elevate.
Okay.
So I'm very intentional with that because of my education background.
Right.
So you may see a curse word or two, but you won't see a whole a
Right.
whole plethora of them, throughout the entire series.
Right.
I
Filth
want to make
farm, filth.
yeah, I want to make it authentic, but I also want to make sure that I'm intentional. Like, look, we don't have to talk like this all the
Gotcha.
time. There are a ton of things, in the English language that we can use in order to convey the same points.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But that's really like, but from the storytelling standpoint, I think I'm, kind of hitting where I want to go creativity wise. And then actually, I think I'm going a little deeper. Um, I want to teach without being preachy.
Mm,
Like I
right.
want to embed it in the story where you're learning about something that you want to probably even look into later on, and that's kind of like the layer that I want to kind of put into all of our story writing, where it's just not like, oh yeah, this is lesson 5, within the in the text. Refer to refer to page 4,
Yeah.
line 5, and let's analyze these 2 lines within the text. I didn't want to do that. But I also wanted to introduce stuff to make you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because from an education standpoint, one of the things that graphic novels and everything does from the research is create mental models. So when you take a more complex topic, like your higher order sciences and your mathematics, one of the things that really keep, young people from, gravitating to those STEM fields is
Right.
because it becomes very abstract to them and they can't relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because they can't, develop a mental model of what that actually looks like.
Right.
So if I'm talking about, taking a derivative in calculus, or are related to physics,
Mm-hmm.
talk about distance time, and then we talk about velocity, and then velocity over time, or we talk about acceleration. That's actually in mathematics. That could be the first, second, and third derivative, of a particular model that you're looking at. But embedding that without going through the whole lesson of, this is the formula and everything else
That
that
goes
kind of
along
time.
with it. But let me ask you
Yeah.
just, and I'm excited because I don't get that many opportunities within this stuff to ask these type of questions because I also
Mm-hmm.
have an education background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've seen the influence with the kids and just how something comes out and they're just repeating it the next day.
Yep.
They're just taking it in, like water. The one train of thought is meet people where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been
Yep.
used for thousands of years, biblically, and many different ways, telling stories to explain, breaking things down, and so you can grow to get something more complicated. But do you feel sometimes with the storytelling, even some of the mathematics of Disney movies, it's so mathematical to the point where is that dumbing us a little bit? Where like sometimes you gotta bring people up where you at?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm like I said, it's all about intentionality. So I'm very intentional. Um, if I'm introducing something that most people aren't, the general public is not familiar with,
Right.
I try to put a little footnote. I put a caption at the bottom of it,
Okay.
just so you can get further insight. But I also want to leave that curiosity piece where you don't want to be able to say, you know what is that about? I see a visual, I see the word, and I want to be able to make a connection. That's one of the layers that I want to kind of have them just be very inquisitive about and ask questions about, and then kind of further explore to get that deeper understanding.
Well, I love the science, and I want to leave it there because I want people to be excited. I want them to explore and want to find more. As soon as I was watching your visuals on the Kickstarter, I was like, oh, wow. I'm already seeing, okay, look at all the science. I know he's jumping in. There's a story here, but you can tell that there's other things going to be mixed in there, and I find that super exciting. How can people support what you're doing? How can they find more information about the project?
Well, our project is currently on Kickstarter, which is Jason, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete. The actual
I'm gonna post that up just so you could get the spelling, people. That's Jazen.
Yep, Jason. But we made the very, very simple. So it's bit.ly. So it's bit.ly/Jason, Jazen. So we did a bit.ly, URL, bit.ly/Jason, and that'll take you right to the actual Kickstarter page.
Excellent. Yeah, and you know what? I just Googled, and you'll find it if you just put Jason the Concrete Rose. You could find it that way too. So you will find it, folks. You have two different ways to do it. Thank you so much. Naseed Gifted, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And,
there's another home for you,
congratulations
GEEKCASTER.
on the project. Congratulations on the premiering. I know the hard work that goes into bringing your projects to life, man. So it's definitely gratifying to be able to see something like that come
Appreciate it.
fruition.
Yep. Thank you so much. And yeah, so folks, you go to geekcaster.com. Again, you could put in use me. You don't have to put in the whole title. You can just put in use me on Tubi. It'll pop up. It's streaming now. We're looking forward to the fall ChemFest. I'm going to mention that again. We want to pick up that Jason, and let's keep the community going. Keep supporting. It's important to support independent creators. We've been doing this how long now?
Yeah.
Sheesh, years.
Yeah, I mean,
because our company has been supporting independent artists, and we're not done yet. And anybody out there on the show, while we got this cable time and social media, this is your home. Hit us up, and you'll be on the show. It's that simple, because we're moving into bigger, better things, and this is yours. Take advantage of it, because we out of here, son.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. If you want to see it, you got to support it. That's how I'm
that's a fact. That's right. Because it's interesting, to prove to others, the powers that be and all that, they're going to put time and money into things that they believe people want.
Yep.
All right, we're out of here. GEEKCASTER. Woohoo!
Peace.
Peace.